And I will call the Ordinance Subcommittee meeting,
Easy for you to say.
easy for me to say, of October 8th at 5:15. All of us are present. And how's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing well. Thank
Yes.
you for asking,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Chairperson.
You're welcome.
I don't appreciate Councilor Connell's use of the pronoun "we." She doesn't speak to. Okay.
50% of us.
Yeah. So we still have. So we've taken cannabis equity out of public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
We still have wage theft in public hearing.
Mm-hmm.
The bicycle stuff has passed and is
Mercifully.
has passed the council.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still in the court of public opinion, I guess.
So wage theft is with the lawyers?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to just give us an update on that and go
Yeah.
from
So I mean, I think it's mostly just a matter of the attorneys connecting, and I think they just haven't, and I think that's imminent. And I was hoping that it would have happened before today.
Okay.
I think
So our town lawyer, city lawyer, and the wage theft lawyer have to connect?
the carpenters, yeah, yes, yeah.
I can see you're trying to find a pun in there.
No, I was like, when you said the wage theft lawyer.
You can see his wheels going.
Or there's a joke there somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Okay.
Well,
we'll hear about it later.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it looks like they're scheduled to hopefully talk at the end of this week.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had obviously did not anticipate. So if we were to, let's just talk scenarios, right? So, sorry, I have to get in the right month. So there's the 8th. We have city council next week. If we took it off the public hearing next week, we'd have to wait then. Then we have to, if come the 6th, we'd have to consider putting it back on.
So that would be, so we would meet on the 16th is the next
Right.
city council meeting where we take it off. We meet on the 22nd.
No, we don't.
Oh, no, we don't. Yes. No, we don't.
So you guys aren't available. I can't be on the 22nd either.
Yeah, I have suburban
Oh,
tryouts.
I thought you meant we were meeting
No.
city council.
No. I mean, that's like normally our scheduled meeting, but
Can you meet on the 20? Can you guys meet on the 29th?
I have zero going on.
on the 29th, I probably could.
It's
Because,
the night before surgery. Imagine my joy.
oh, you're going to be
Oh,
super
well.
happy. And you won't be able to eat.
That would be my last official.
Is that okay though? So here'd be
Or drink.
my request or slash the deal. Like,
Okay.
Can we wait and see if something happens before the 6th, and maybe by the 29th they'll have spoken and we'll be able to talk about it on the 29th and hopefully get it.
But we can't get it on a public hearing.
No, I'm saying
No,
we
but so
it's
don't
already
remove
on.
it.
I'm saying don't remove it.
Okay, and then on the 6th, can we just have the public hearing?
That's my hope.
You don't
And
have to say, hey, we're gonna have the public
Well,
hearing.
because it's already there.
It's already been
And if it's not
advertised.
at that point, let's just take it off at that.
Right.
I just, I
I'm
did
down
not
with that.
expect that this would occur, but.
Okay,
you
that's
know.
fine. So what I'll do is, at the 16th meeting, I will continue Carpenters, and with the kind of understanding that if it doesn't get resolved, that at the next meeting we'll remove it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to make a motion, or is this just kind of
I
a?
don't think we need to make a motion on that. I think it's more of just a procedural thing.
Yeah, I did not know it was going to take this long.
And have we heard anything on cannabis equity applications yet?
In terms of,
So now it's back in committee.
well, I think at this point, my understanding is that we have to kind of, we kind
just
of have
wait.
to sit on it, and I mean, there's things we could talk about, but I think that we just have to wait for legal,
Precedent to be set?
legal precedent, legal, funds.
Oh, legal funds, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get the sense from the mayor, though, that even if she opened her budget,
That
that
she
there
would
would be
wanna
much
fund that.
to talk about right now. It sounds like she wants to wait and see how the law settles before we
Right.
dive right in.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep on the agenda. I mean,
Yeah.
there's probably things to talk about. I think that there was a valid point made that we only have one open.
Right.
So,
Maybe let a couple more
yeah, I mean,
fall into the mix.
I mean, I don't, personally, I don't necessarily think that they can't happen in parallel, but it's not, it is, I think I also imagined by the time we got around to maybe voting on this, that some of the ones that did have special permits would be opening, and
Sure.
so, we'd have like 3 open, and,
I think it will give us experience, though, if we get to, what do we have, 6?
Yeah.
If we fill 6, it'd be interesting to get the data on who's knocking at the door for the next one.
Right.
See what the state experience is. I mean, I'm fine with holding, I mean, it does feel like it could be uncharted waters.
Yeah.
Uncharted waters.
I'd say the thing with equity is you're gonna be unlikely to see equity type
Coming
people
knocking.
knocking on the door, because they just are like, there's no, they just,
Right.
any.
It's more difficult.
It's really difficult, so.
Well, I mean, I think the thing that I was holding out hope for was that equity licenses would be more accessible for things like social consumption,
I think that's the plan.
and because I think that is going to be less of a risk, because you know that you're going to have an audience that's coming to you. You're not necessarily competing with another.
Right.
Yeah.
Like INSA's, like I wouldn't want to compete with INSA,
No.
Mhm.
right? Like,
Right.
but if I was thinking about, all right, I want to do something in this industry, and I'm someone who qualifies for equity, I would want to be looking at the social consumption piece, because that would be more novel and more. But I think I read something today that might be kind of getting it, like that Baker was put up some roadblocks to that
Because
today.
the lack of a field, roadside sobriety.
Even though I did hear that they had developed one that was like, planning on rolling out at some point. So, but I guess it hasn't yet.
Yeah,
so.
it's things to look at. I mean,
Yep.
potentially also, the laws will become more clear, I mean, between, how was it, Cambridge, and,
Probably enjoy that.
yeah, and, Somerville, and I thought Boston was doing something too. I mean, we could just kind of watch them,
Yeah,
and kind of
just
let
watch
them
and see
set
how
the
they.
precedent
Well, yeah,
for
because
us.
Cambridge did a moratorium on any that aren't equity, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting for us to kind of follow that, and I don't have a problem with it sitting
I mean,
on our docket.
yeah, we might fall into a situation where there's less hours potentially needed for legal review, because the legal case law gets more
The precedent
established. It
gets
becomes
set.
more clear as to what is and what isn't,
Yeah.
acceptable. So, yeah. What was I gonna say about that? The one thing that has come up in this conversation, I think something that we need to talk about, I think it's technically on the agenda, so I don't think there's any issue, is that we're facing situations where we have places that have either gotten special permits, or we're in the process to get special permits, so it was kind of like holding it for them, even though I don't think there's anything in the ordinance that says we have to do that. It was also just common courtesy, but look like they may not open. And so I think we do have to talk about introducing language that makes it very clear kind of how the process goes once you get a special permit.
Yeah.
Because, there's certainly, I think, 2 businesses right now that they might not
make it
happen.
through.
Yeah.
So kind of a
Do we know which ones
sequestration.
those are?
I think, Apical, they never even got a
Or is
special
that the
permit.
one down towards, on,
On College Highway,
Yeah.
towards Southampton border.
yeah.
And I mean, it's just speculation, so I'll make that very clear. But the one up here, I'm not sure what's happening.
The verb.
Yeah, but I don't.
Herb.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't
That's
heard
only
anything
what I
about that
heard, so
either.
I cannot confirm that. So I just want to make it clear that that's just.
And
But
so-
either way, I mean, just hypothetically.
Right, and so what you're saying is like, we have 2 potential licenses that are being kind of reserved for businesses that may or may not open. So what is the process around sequestering those licenses back if they aren't viable?
Yeah, like how long after you sign your community host agreement do you then have to get a special permit? And then once you have a special permit, now my understanding is I think special permits expire after 2 years, but
I think that's right,
if you
yeah.
get your special permit, you get a state
That's a long
license,
time.
like how long does your state license, like, I think these are things we really need, I think we need to like really lay it all out, like.
Yeah.
I don't want, there should not be a gray area, and that way too, people know exactly what they're getting into.
Yeah, well, and I agree with that, but I want to just make sure, especially as it relates to equity, you know, until the banking bill passes, you know, there might be, one of the potential roadblocks to people is the financing of these things.
Mhm.
So which could probably I imagine would take time, especially for entities that aren't large.
Totally. And I wanna be
So we need to
fair.
make sure that we weigh these things in a kind of a balanced approach to make sure that we're, number one, looking out for the interests of the city.
Mhm.
And number two, looking out for the interests of people that want to do business in the city, and trying to weigh those two things together, I think, and which I think is perfectly valid and important for us to do.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Chairperson Derby, you're talking to Owen Equity Zara, of course. But I think the way, what you just said, we have to strike a balance.
Yeah.
Because we can't get into a situation with like liquor licenses in
Right.
certain towns near us where people pocket them and then sit on
Just sit on them.
Yeah, so I think.
Because that's
you know,
not good for the city.
Yeah, so there might be resources in the city, like the planner and maybe even the mayor, for instance, or even the CCC may have some precedent about how other towns have dealt with this.
Right. So I think that's something that is worth discussing and is perfectly within our purview as this is on our agenda. So maybe at our next meeting, that's something that we can dive into a little bit deeper and you know, see if we can't find exactly what type of adjustments would be needed,
Mhm.
if any.
Mhm.
Okay, that sounds good.
So yeah, that's the biggest thing for me.
Councilor Khan, if you have any things that you want to discuss, I was going to say that one of the things that I'm hoping to have in the next probably month or so is to have at least a draft of the parking stuff that I was
Nice.
looking at. So, you have something there?
Nope,
No,
I was
there's
just,
nothing in there.
I was gonna ask, what are we gonna
Is there
do about
something
this?
to put in your folder?
I
Yes.
have things in my folder.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just wanted to know if this was gonna die a slow agonizing death.
No, I don't think
or
so.
if it's
It's been low on the totem pole.
gonna-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a lot of other things.
I have nothing
Okay.
for this.
And I'll finally have some time to like finally finish up the open container stuff. Certainly at least the alcohol.
Okay.
Because there's some updated issues
Yeah, absolutely,
there.
I'm 100%.
And then the cannabis stuff, you know, I think obviously, I think we should just, now that we have all these other things off our plate, we could probably get
Dive into it a little bit.
We've been so inundated with some of these bigger items.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's great, and I think, so what we'll do is, let's take a look at our next meeting. So if we have October here, so we are at the 8th, so it means the 16th is the city council meeting.
Correct.
I can't meet on the 22nd, which wouldn't be our normal,
Mm-hmm.
because I have suburban tryouts for a new basketball team.
You do the 29th?
And I believe I can do the 29th.
Is it
So-
okay pre-surgery?
Is that gonna work for you, Clay? Okay, so do you guys wanna do 29th, 5:15? Does that
yeah.
work, or we
No,
can do it
no,
different
that's,
time? Okay.
that's perfect, that's what,
Perfect.
yeah, and the nice thing about that too is it actually gives us a few weeks padding, like, so let's just like potentially, like, you know, we'll have the stuff back by
Yes.
then, we can vote on it, and that gives us like a full week to send it to the council.
Sounds good.
Is that,
That's perfect.
I mean, even theoretically, you can submit it, you know, it's even just before the deadline for the packet. and
Yep.
Is that,
I think that makes perfect sense. All right.
appreciate it, thanks for your patience and understanding.
No problem. All right, that sounds good. So unless we have anything else.
Let me just,
Motion to adjourn-
sorry, I was just, next meeting,
29th.
5:15.
sorry, I did not, to
Motion.
step on your motion.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
It's like record break.